Minerva Park Middle School when that's up, and then various improvements throughout the district.
That's good. Thank you. Any other comments? Nope. Hearing none.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Altman?
Yes.
Mrs. Meyer?
Yes.
Dr. Nestor Baker?
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson?
Yes. Is everyone okay if we do this as one personnel consent agenda? Okay. May I have a motion for 8.1 through 8.18 for the personnel consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
And Carrie Dennis is with us to talk to us. Welcome.
On the microphone.
I'm sorry, I was really unsure what he was saying to me. I apologize. Thank you and good evening, President Davidson, members of the board, Dr. Kellogg, and Mrs. Marshall. I'd like to present to you for your consideration tonight's personnel consent agenda. The items in tonight's agenda represent our regular action items with regards to personnel. However, there are a few items that deserve to be highlighted in this agenda. This evening, we are asking the board to consider and approve the following. We have our usual array of resignations and changes of assignments within our staff at the beginning of the school year. We have one licensed resignation, and we welcome 18 classified and one licensed employee to our district. On tonight's agenda for your approval is a new administrator, Mr. Anton Sidbury. Mr. Sidbury is recommended as the Assistant Manager of Transportation. Mr. Sidbury came to us most recently as a general manager of a transportation services company, and we are excited and looking forward to having him and his expertise as part of our transportation team. The board will also see an MOU and with WEA and an MOU with WESA to extend the effective dates of a change from a 26 pay period to a 24 pay period at the beginning of the 23-24 school year if our other bargaining groups agree to this. Lastly, the board will find 4 MOAs and 3 MOUs for consideration. These agreements and understandings with WEA, WESA, OPSI 138, and OPSI 719 demonstrate the support these groups provide for one another and our students in the events of our double-back buses or our staffing shortages that we have had challenges with. These are reflective of the same MOUs that we had and MOAs that we had last school year that did allow us to continue services for our kids. It's this type of teamwork that continues to make Westerville City Schools a really great place to work. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Hearing none. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Nestor Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Meyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Altman?
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson?
Yes. Moving on to old business, 9.1, final reading for policy 5111.01, homeless students. Are there any questions or comments here?
So moved.
Yeah, motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? No? Hearing none?
Dr. Nestor Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Meyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Altman?
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson?
Yes. We do not have any new business this evening, so we're moving on to recommended action and standing business. 11.1, approval of employee wellness plan for school year 22 and 23. May I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Ms. Marshall, you want to talk to us about this?
Yes, thank you again. So this is a synopsis of what we plan to do for our wellness initiatives for our employees for the year. We've kind of been all over the place the last couple of years with the pandemic and being in and out of the building. So we have a plan for this year that includes incentives with gift cards. We will account for them appropriately with the IRS guidelines and all that. And then some other incentives that we have mixed in here for our employees who participate in our wellness initiative. So we're very excited about this. We have a 5K coming up on CODA Day, and there's Ohio Health. It's like a 6-week prepared to go to a 5K sort of thing that they're doing. I think it's like a couch to 5K thing. So we're kicking the wellness plan off with that on CODA Day. So it's exciting. Check your emails if you Haven't seen it yet.
Any questions?
I just want to say it sounded really exciting. Looks fun.
Mrs. Meyer,
Yes.
Mrs. Altman,
Yes.
Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Dr. Nestor
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson.
Yes. 11.2, summer graduation candidates. May I have a motion?
So moved. Or second.
And Ms. Ann Baldwin's joining us this evening. Welcome.
Good evening, President Davidson, members of the board, Dr. Kellogg, and Ms. Marshall. I have several candidates for graduation who have completed their credits over the summer. We have one early grad who is actually graduating early. None of the students were able to be with us tonight, but I do want to recognize their names for their accomplishment. From Westerville North High School, I want to congratulate Carissa Regner and Gianni Greer. And then from Westerville South, Dominic Gold, Abduhali Ismail, Dita Oliver, and Annalisa Earl. So those are our summer graduates for your consideration this evening.
Thank you. Congratulations to them all.
Yes.
Great work.
Thank you.
Mrs. Meyer,
Yes.
Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Dr. Nestor
Yes.
Mrs. Altman,
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson.
Yes. Up next, 11.3, overnight and out-of-state field trips. And Ann Baldwin's back with us. May I have a motion?
So moved?
Second.
Seconding doesn't mean you get to go.
Oh, well, never mind. I take it back.
Our field trip here.
You thought you were getting away.
I know, I apologize. I'm trying to recall our field trip that is up.
It's,
And performance at Disney.
yeah.
North High School.
Thank you. So, thank you. For Westville North High School, our band will be performing at Disney, so we're excited about this opportunity for our students. They will be following all protocols that we have for out-of-state field trips. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Hearing none. Thank you very
All right,
much.
thank you.
Mrs. Altman,
Yes.
Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Mrs. Meyer,
Yes.
Dr. Nestor
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson.
Yes. 11.4, a resolution to adopt a Calamity Day alternative makeup plan. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Welcome, Dr. Knapp.
Thank you and good evening. Yes, I was walking up here and I'm like, oh, I don't know where anyone's going. I better wait. With the passage of House Bill 153, districts have the opportunity to maintain their school calendars by making up calamity hours. This resolution before you is to adopt a Calamity Day alternative makeup plan that includes the use of up to 3 days in which online lessons or blizzard bags will be utilized. Some of you have seen me do this before, many, many times, but ODE requires this resolution to be adopted every year. And as you'll see, we do work with WEA, and teachers need to have these lessons fairly ready by December 1st, knowing that those could change per the resolution.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Mrs. Meyer,
Yes.
Dr. Nestor
Yes.
Mrs. Altman,
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson.
Yes. Up next, 12.1, public comments. We do have 3 speakers tonight. Just a gentle reminder that each speaker will have 5 minutes to address the board. A timer is going to be shown on the screen, and Mr. Hershiser will call the time when 5 minutes has elapsed. We ask that you please keep your comments professional, avoid use of inappropriate language, and refrain from identifying individuals in the event of a complaint. Please address your comments to the board this evening and not to the audience. And please know that we don't answer. We usually go back and get information, and then you're answered later, just so you know. Up first is Abigail Heck. Welcome.
Good evening, President Davidson, members of the board, Dr. Kellogg, and Ms. Marshall. My name is Abby Heck, and I'm a senior on the Westerville North Girls Volleyball team. I am speaking tonight on behalf of the rest of my team, and I want to be clear that the feelings and topics that I'm going to talk about are reflective of the players and parents only, and have not been prompted or influenced by the coaching staff or administration at Westerville North. On Monday, August 18th, 2022, our head varsity coach, Mrs. Kristen Hirschberger, informed our team that our assistant varsity coach, Mr. Paul Hirschberger Jr., would no longer be allowed to coach us due to a decision made by the central office. We were told that there is a policy/expectation stating that school administrators are not permitted to coach. This policy or expectation hasn't been mentioned prior to this past couple of weeks, and it hasn't really been explained to the players or coaches. As a result, both players and parents are in a current state of confusion and frustration. These feelings derive from two important ideas. The immeasurable amount of positivity that Mr. Hirschberger brings to our team, and the negative impact that his removal has had on us. At the beginning of the season, our coaching staff emphasized the importance of having a positive attitude and mindset, especially when facing adversity. One of the ways that our team has found to build that positive mental mindset is through a daily quote that Mr. Hirschberger provided and explained to us each practice. The quote was hung up in the locker room bulletin board, and before Mr. Hirschberger was removed, it served as a topic that we could openly discuss with him before practice, and something that we could then reflect on as a team with him after practice. This process has been extremely beneficial for the entire team's mental health. For the upperclassmen, the discussion provided a set of thinking skills that will help us when facing adversity moving into the real world. And for the underclassmen, it's provided a foundation to better build their own ideas about themselves and to build a successful high school career. But for all of us, Mr. Hirschberger's positive and inspirational outlook on life has helped us to understand that when we're faced with adversity, we have the powers and skills to get through it. And if for some reason we can't get through it, we have a support system behind us ready to lift us up. However, as a result of Mr. Hirschberger's removal, we have lost a huge part of our support system. We have, just like how a car can't function flawlessly without four wheels, our coaching staff doesn't function as smoothly without all four coaches. While coaches Kristen Hirschberger, Hallie Swiger, and Lacey Sprang have been doing a phenomenal job helping us try to adjust to the sudden loss of Mr. Hirschberger's coaching, our team, our family, just isn't the same without him. Every single player on this team can feel the loss of the coach who helped condition us mentally and physically throughout the summer and helped us to grow as people and players during these first 2 weeks of practice and play. The loss is undeniable. For these reasons, we would like to request that Mr. Hirschberger is reinstated as a volunteer assistant varsity coach. And we would be happy to sit down with anyone to discuss this further at a different time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abby. Up next, we have Savannah Gurr.
Good evening, board members. My name is Savannah Gurr, and I'm a senior captain on the varsity volleyball team at Westerville North. Last year, the program welcomed all new coaches, Coach Sprang as the freshman coach, Coach Swagger as the JV coach, and Coach Kristen Hirschberger as the head coach. And Coach Paul Hirschberger as our assistant who volunteers to help with his wife, coach for girls varsity volleyball. Coming into a new atmosphere, an immediate light switch occurred. From coming from a program where it was acceptable to show up 5 minutes before practice and not holding ourselves accountable in so many ways, to now showing up at least 30 minutes before practice to getting any training needed, nets set up, gear on, and ready to go, and just to spend time with our teammates. Each practice, we have a new quote the Hirschbergers select is most fit for the day. It motivates us to improve each day and be better than yesterday. Each practice, I always have one person on me no matter what the situation is. That is Coach Paul Hirschberger. He helped me develop into who I am as a leader and especially a person. He taught me and my teammates, tough times don't last, but tough people do. In our world right now, we are lucky to have people show up to work and actually be there to work hard. Yet, here Coach Paul Hirschberger is showing up every day in his athletic clothes after his job as our assistant principal to help run practice. He does it with a smile on his face and the attitude that we will be better than yesterday. He does it for free. He volunteers to make us better players and people. He spends hours away from his 3 children and the rest of his family to help his wife run our practices and to better us as players and people. That's character. Thank you for your time, and please consider the voices asking for change in this room. Thank you.
Thank you, Savannah. And our last speaker is Amy Ward Klein. Welcome, Amy.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm going to speak from the hip right now. I'm a mother of a senior player who is quite proud to just listen to these 2 seniors stand up representing their volleyball team. We've been part of this program. This is our 4th year, and it was an honor to have new coaching staff come in last year. As both young ladies have stated, the coaches were here all last year, changing a program for the better of Westerville City Schools and Westerville North High School. They have brought camaraderie amongst the team, but yet they've pushed the kids. They've taken the team to a competitive level where they need to be in Central Ohio. We're not only developing athletes, we're developing young ladies. We have 3 fantastic female coaches, part of the volleyball program, and our 4th coach is undeniable a missing link right now. It's unfortunate that the kids have started their season, and the coach has been jerked from them. It's unnecessary. It's kind of appalling as a parent to really see that the players are going through this. As you can hear, he makes more of an impression on them, not only as a coach, but as a person. He does his job. We trust him because he is an administrator. Why not trust him as our coach? They've even said, we live in a world now where people just don't even show up to work, yet we have someone devoting their time and volunteering. If there's something else that needs to be done to have certain administrators in the gym, whatever the case is, we've never been given good, legit reason why this happened. We just want our coaching staff back and back together. These kids deserve it. They work hard. This was not an issue last year. You know, we're being told that it's because he's an administrator and administrators are not able to coach. I don't buy that. So whatever the situation is, we're more than happy to sit down and talk about what's going on. We want our kids to have a fantastic, enjoyable year. Coach Hirschberger deserves this position. He's not only a coach for these players, he's sometimes a father figure. And what else would we want in the city of Westerville for our children? I would like everyone to maybe look into the situation. It's what's going on. Again, I'm shooting from the hip because our kids deserve better. It's unfortunate that they've started their season this way. So we're asking you guys, reconsider us, bring their coach back because these kids deserve it, and it's just like the sign there says, it's where he belongs. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Okay, up next, we have board comments, 13.1. Who would like to go first?
I would just like to welcome the new members of the staff on board, as well as congratulate the graduates who completed all the necessary qualifications and requirements to receive their degree over the course of the summer, and looking forward to a good year. From what I understand, so far we're off to overall a good year getting started this school year.
Thank you. Thank you. Who's next?
I'll go. Thank you for your comments this evening. We'll be interested in hearing all that the administration has to share with us about that. I wanted to point out just some more kind of logistical sorts of things for those who are not familiar with it, especially those who have chosen to study it, at least at some level. And tonight's agenda was a really light one, which is lucky for you guys because you didn't have to sit there for 3 hours before we finally got to the final public comment section. But it might leave you feeling as though not much goes on here. This just happened to be a light night. So you're invited to come back when things are contentious or when there is something big on the agenda to talk about. But I did want to just kind of fill in a couple of gaps. For instance, one of the major things that we do is to set policy for the district. And one of the things that you probably noticed was under old business, we were very quickly approving a revised policy on homeless students. And you might have thought, well, why was there no discussion about that? It's old business because it already came before us. And also, this was a minor revision based on just the addition of basically a few-word phrase, basically. So it isn't that we skate past it and don't think of it. It has already reached the point of approval for us this evening. The wellness piece, that's an exciting piece for our faculty and staff to be engaged in, and that deals with a lot of whole person experience that we want for our staff members as well as for our students. So the wellness program for staff helps us develop the whole person for everyone, for our staff as well. And then, let me see, just wanted to point out that what you saw tonight, as brief as it was, these are pieces that help the district function, that kind of keep the trains running on the track, so to speak. So come back again, take a look at the materials on our website, watch some YouTube videos, and you'll find out what's so exciting about being on the Board of Education.
I don't have much to add. I just thank you for your comments. Thank you for coming out tonight. I echo Vaughn's comments. And I would also just put a plug in. If you're looking for a really great job, we're still looking for some good school bus drivers. And there's no big legislative updates. They're still not doing much right now, which I'm thankful for. So I'm glad that we're off to a good start to the school year. That's it.
Great, thank you. And again, thank you for being here. It really matters when people come and share what's on their minds, so thanks for doing that. And again, congratulations. I think everyone has pretty much touched on it, but congratulating graduates is like the best thing that we get to do, even if they can't come. So congratulations to all of them. And I wanted to point out, as the school year's starting here, please pay attention to curriculum nights, right? Because they're popping up, and I know they can be hard to keep track of, especially if you have multiple kids at multiple schools. But please pay attention and make sure you know when those are, because it's a great chance to get to connect with our wonderful building staff and administrators. So, thanks.
Thank you. I echo my colleagues' comments. I just want to add thank you also to the girls for coming this evening, for speaking and sharing your thoughts and concerns. We'd love to hear from students and know what you're thinking. It really is important. So thank you for coming and sharing. And with that, 14.1, the board will meet in special session on Monday, August 29th, 2022 at 6 p.m. here at the Early Learning Center. And 15.1 may have a motion for executive session for the purpose of discussing the employment and compensation of a school employee.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Dr. Nestor-Baker?
Yes.
Mrs. Meyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Altman?
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson?
Yes. So we're going to take a couple minutes and go behind closed doors and talk about compensation, and then we'll come back out and end the meeting, just so everyone knows. But thank you all for joining us this evening. It is 7:24, and we have just returned from executive session, and I would like to ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Altman?
Yes.
Mrs. Meyer?
Yes.
Dr. Nestor Baker?
Yes.
Mrs. Davidson?
Yes. And with that, we're adjourned.